would rise unchallenged towards the nomination has been met with a surprising insurgency of independent socialist senator from Vermont, Bernie Sanders. I'm Brian F. Carmody, Jr. Welcome to the Brianing Line, the show where we discuss one political topic with 5 subtopics. Today's issue: will former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton feel the bone? As they say. First topic: feel the bone. This is sort of a colloquialism or viral hashtag, if you will, responded to by many followers on social media and the like to express their support for Senator Sanders' candidacy. I'm commenting now on what I've myself have noticed in a large rate on Facebook, on Twitter, and indeed in real life. I have noticed a tremendous amount of momentum within the Democrat Party and indeed elsewhere for the candidacy of Bernie Sanders. Somewhat surprising. It certainly has a notable online presence. Time Magazine's online poll, the reporters selected Bernie Sanders as Person of the Year, demonstrating that they consider Bernie Sanders to be the most noteworthy, newsworthy, and influential Person of the Year. I take umbrage with that designation myself, for internationally, I think that a case could be made that the Syrian refugees, ISIS itself, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, Russian President Vladimir Putin, and even the other firebrand in the Republican Party, on the other hand, billionaire mogul Donald Trump, have made more impact on the news internationally this year than Bernie Sanders. But the fact remains that Sanders certainly has affected a great deal of influence on this political cycle, and many are, they say, feeling the bone. Turning then from the Democrat Party towards the larger question, issue 2. In the general election, is the United States of America ready to accept a socialist president, an avowed socialist? Obviously, there have been claims for years against any number of serving or previous presidents. My father, for instance, would say that President Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a socialist. Some have gone far to say that current President Barack Obama is not only socialist, but a Marxist. That's not what I'm addressing now. I'm addressing that Senator Bernie Sanders has explicitly always been open to the fact that he is a socialist. The question is the United States ready to elect into its highest office a man who professes openly socialism? Of course, socialism being counter to our American values of capitalism and the free market economy that sustains us to this day. I think that in the general election, you'd have an uphill challenge here. Certainly millennials may be embracing the supposed promises of a socialist system, the ideas of free college, for instance, no student loans, and all that. Pragmatically, though, I have my own doubts about that, even though I do think that, with my own highly amassed student loans being what they are, the idea of a magic wand to just make them disappear is certainly appealing, but I know that's not the real case. To the question, I think that as I said, the millennials may be willing to embrace a socialist candidate. So the youth vote may be open. Not so sure about a majority in the general election of America. That's an uphill challenge for Senator Sanders. Issue 3. Where is Hillary's momentum? As I say, I look on social media, I look on Facebook, I see the hashtags, bumper stickers out in public. It all would tell you that Bernie Sanders is the preferred candidate. Yet, former Secretary of State Clinton retains a comfortable 2-point, even 20-point lead over Sanders in every national poll. She certainly has more money, name recognition, and goodwill within the Democrat Party itself. The simple fact, though, is I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing her level of support, and I'm not sure exactly what the theme of her campaign is this time. Sanders himself certainly has his socialist agenda. He wants to break up the banks, go after the 1%, 90% income tax, socialist this, free that. He has a set of issues he's pursuing rapidly. Clinton, not sure where she's coming from, what she's staking her campaign on. If one is being cynical, they might say that she's depending on the novelty of being the first woman president. Certainly when I attended the Lightning in a Bottle music festival in 2014, Moby was performing, and he was glad that our president was a first black president, and he said, and I hope, and hopefully our next president will be a woman. However, being that it's been 32 years, come 2016, since Geraldine Ferraro ran as a running mate on the National Party ticket, and 8 years since Sarah Palin was on the Republican Party ticket, and the candidacies of Michelle Bachmann and Carly Fiorina, it's not quite a novelty anymore. And Clinton herself, one might say, is old news. Will she be running on her accomplishments as Secretary of State, so to speak? I'm not sure, because the question is, what are those accomplishments? Things are not noticeably more stable in the Middle East than when she took office. One, in fact, might say that the rise of ISIS is not something to be proud of. Of course, there's also Benghazi, that debacle, and the question of her emails, which, moving on. Issue 4, will Sanders burn Clinton? As I was saying, the emails are a pertinent issue. The charge that former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton used a private server and may have illegally deleted privileged emails is a valid concern in terms of propriety, in terms of ethics, basic competence, and indeed national security. And one might say Clinton's weakest spot in terms of what an opponent may attack. Bernie Sanders has, perhaps admirably, declined to run a negative campaign focusing on his own issues, his own political agenda. But I would say to the senator that before one can implement his political agenda, he needs to first be elected. And before he can become elected president, he has to win the primary. And to win the primary, particularly in one which he is unquestionably the underdog, he has to make the case that he is better than his opponent. And Senator Sanders, of course, famously in the first Democrat debate said, "America is tired of hearing about your damn emails," met with raucous applause and an embrace of Clinton herself. Now, Senator, that's the kind of thing that'll win you a lot of goodwill within the Democrat Party, but it won't get you elected. It won't win you the nomination. This is a legitimate issue, and she can and should be called out on it. Your unwillingness to do so undermines your own campaign. Issue 5, T.E. Lawrence, in which I now address former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton herself. The candidacy and the demonstrable enthusiasm for your opponent, Bernie Sanders, cannot be ignored, nor should it be. And while I'm confident that with your 20-point lead over him, your massive lead in funding, name recognition, and general goodwill within the Democrat Party will cause you to eventually triumph and win the nomination, here's a factor that must be dealt with. And what do you do if you feel the bone? Well, I would say T.E. Lawrence, eponymously of Arabia, but very much an Englishman, favored distinguishing a burning match between his thumb and forefinger, like so. When asked by his colleague, William Potter, how it was he was so able to effectively extinguish the match without feeling any pain, Lawrence just smiled and said, "The trick, Potter, is not minding that it hurts." So, Secretary Clinton, if you are feeling the burn, just don't mind that it hurts. Whether that strategy will carry on to a general election remains to be seen, and that is an issue for another day. This has been Brianing Line. I'm Brian F. Carmody, Jr. Thanks for watching.